Australia, the sunny land of opportunity, is facing a tough time. Known for its beautiful landscapes, vibrant cities, and welcoming culture, Australia has long been a dream destination for many. The cost of living is going up, making it harder for people to enjoy the good life Australia is known for. Everyday expenses, from groceries to utilities, are becoming a burden for many families. While many see Australia as a paradise, more and more Aussies are struggling to pay for everyday things. The contrast between the idyllic lifestyle and the harsh financial reality is growing starker. This video will look closely at this problem, exploring what's causing it and why we need to find solutions fast. We'll delve into the economic and social factors contributing to this crisis. For years, Australia has been a place of hope, attracting people from all over the world. Its promise of a better life has drawn countless immigrants seeking new opportunities. Its strong economy, stable government, and diverse culture have made it seem like a place of prosperity and promise. The country's rich cultural tapestry is a testament to its global appeal. But underneath the surface, there's a growing sense of worry. The financial pressures are mounting, and the dream of a comfortable life is slipping away for many. The cost of living has gone through the roof, thanks to a bunch of factors that threaten the Australian dream. Rising prices in essential areas like food, fuel, and housing are hitting hard. Being able to afford a house, something important for a stable society, has become a huge problem. Home ownership, once a cornerstone of Australian life, is now out of reach for many. Owning a home feels impossible for many, especially young Aussies. The dream of having a place to call their own is becoming increasingly unattainable. Renting is also a mess, with high rents and lots of competition, making things tough for individuals and families. The rental market is fiercely competitive, adding to the stress. This problem isn't just in big cities, it's everywhere, affecting small towns and the countryside too. The financial strain is felt across the nation, in urban and rural areas alike. The challenges Australia faces are complicated and connected, meaning we need to look at them from all angles to find solutions. A multifaceted approach is essential to address these intertwined issues. This video will examine the main reasons for the high cost of living, from expensive housing and the rental crisis to how immigration and a slow economy play a role. We'll break down the key factors driving this crisis. We'll also explore possible solutions, highlighting the need for the government to step in, changes in the construction industry, and everyone in Australia working together to fix this urgent problem. Collaboration and proactive measures are crucial for a brighter future. A big part of Australia's cost of living problem is that houses are just too expensive. The dream of owning a home is slipping away for many Australians. Owning a home, once something most Australians could expect, is becoming a distant dream for many. The barriers to entry are higher than ever before. House prices have gone way up, but wages haven't kept up, making it almost impossible for people to buy a house. The gap between income and housing costs is widening. The numbers tell a worrying story. Data shows a steep rise in housing prices, outpacing wage growth by a significant margin. Over the last 10 years, house prices in Australia's big cities have gone crazy, increasing much faster than wages. This trend is particularly evident in major urban centers. In Sydney, for example, the average house price has more than doubled, reaching a whopping $1.5 million. This makes it one of the most expensive cities in the world. Melbourne, Brisbane, and other capital cities are seeing the same thing, making it super hard for regular Aussies to buy property. The trend is consistent across the country. This problem isn't just in the cities. It's affecting regional areas too, though not as quickly. Even smaller towns are feeling the pressure. As people get priced out of the city, they move to regional areas, increasing demand and pushing up prices there too. This migration is reshaping the housing market. This has big consequences, affecting everything from access to important services to how well communities get along. The ripple effects are far-reaching. The impact of unaffordable housing is serious. It creates financial stress and limits opportunities for many families. Young people already dealing with student loans and a tough job market are finding it almost impossible to save enough money for a down payment on a house. The financial burden is overwhelming. Many have to delay important life events, like starting a family or buying a home, because houses are so expensive. These delays can have long-term impacts on their lives. This affects the whole economy because when fewer people own homes, it can slow down spending and economic growth. The housing crisis is a national issue that needs urgent attention. Making Australia's cost of living problem even worse is the rental crisis, which has been escalating over the past few years. Because buying a house is so hard, more people have to rent, which increases demand and pushes rents to record highs. This surge in demand is not just a temporary spike, it's a growing trend that shows no signs of slowing down. This creates a terrible situation for renters, who are dealing with both high rents and intense competition for places to live. The stress and uncertainty of finding a stable home can be overwhelming. Rents in Australia's big cities are increasing at a scary rate, making it harder for people to afford living in urban areas where most jobs are located. In Sydney, the average weekly rent for an apartment is over $600, which is a significant financial burden for many. And in Melbourne, it's common to pay over $500 a week for a similar place. These high costs are becoming the norm rather than the exception. These amounts take up a huge chunk of a person's income, leaving little money for other important things like food, transportation, and healthcare. The financial strain is felt across all aspects of life. The competition for rentals is fierce, with many people vying for the same limited number of properties. It's normal for dozens, sometimes even hundreds, of people to apply for the same place, making the process highly competitive and stressful. This puts renters in a tough spot, often forcing them to offer more rent than the landlord is asking or accept places that aren't in good condition just to have somewhere to live. The desperation to secure a home can lead to difficult compromises. The rental crisis is especially hard on people with low incomes, single parents, and vulnerable groups like the elderly and people with disabilities. These groups face additional challenges in the competitive rental market. These groups often have a fixed income or rely on government assistance, making it almost impossible to cope with rising rents. The financial pressure can be relentless. Many are forced to live in overcrowded housing, stay at friends' places, or even become homeless, showing the real human cost of this crisis. The impact on people's lives is profound and far-reaching. Immigration plays a complicated role in Australia's housing affordability crisis. Australia has always welcomed people from around the world, but the recent increase in immigration, along with a lack of planning and new housing, has definitely put pressure on the housing market, especially in big cities. Australia has always been a popular place for immigrants because of its strong economy, good quality of life, and diverse culture. However, the number of immigrants coming to Australia recently has been huge. While these new arrivals add to Australia's economy and culture, they also increase the demand for housing, especially in cities like Sydney and Melbourne. The housing shortage in Australia is largely due to the slow pace of new construction, driven by factors such as lengthy planning approval processes, a shortage of skilled workers, and rising construction costs. Additionally, the preference for detached single-family homes, especially in urban areas, contributes to urban sprawl, consuming large amounts of land and making it more difficult and costly to provide essential services. Fixing this supply-demand problem requires doing several things. We need to make planning approvals faster, encourage higher density housing in the right places, and invest in training for construction workers. We also need to explore new housing models like build-to-rent schemes and co-housing projects, which could offer alternatives to traditional home ownership.
The housing crisis in Australia is a challenge we all need to tackle together. What steps do you think should be taken to make housing more affordable? Share your thoughts, get involved, and let's work towards a better future for everyone.